Elizabeth, now our topic for the day. The business people in the United Kingdom has stated that they will never vote for UK to exit out of the European Union. And they have stated categorically clear that immigration is not a problem, but part of the solutions of the problem. What is your take on this?
My take with regard to the CBI survey, I think in their conference recently they said 62% of CBI members were pro, I think more or less, open border migration, opposed to 1% completely negative. We've just got to look at the history of who the CBI are. I mean, clearly, they're big business. Of course, they want cheap migrant labour, Pell decrees, they want low wages and high profit. But if we actually look at the wisdom of the CBI, in 2000, Sir Clive Thompson, the then chairman, demanded early entry to the single currency. So in 2000, the CBI demanded that Britain be part of the euro, stating that prices and mortgage costs would fall and that the economy would grow and become more stable. Unfortunately, history now shows that has caused significant damage to Greece, Italy, Portugal and Spain. Also, the CBI loved the exchange rate mechanism and was very keen for Britain to remain in that. So I don't think the CBI really is blessed with prescience and wisdom.
So you think what the CBI is saying is not in the interest of the people of Great Britain, but for the interest of the biggest corporation who will be trading among themselves when Europe is buying together?
Oh, I totally agree. I think that it's a measure to kill off competition from SMEs. I mean, the current chairman of CBI, Mike Rake, is the chairman of BT. So I don't really see that he necessarily reflects the wishes of these small to medium enterprises, which are the lifeblood of job supply in this country. I mean, it's all very well the CBI saying this and saying, yes, we want lots more immigration, but what does that result in? It seems to result in low wages. I think the union should consider their stance on open-door immigration. And also, the CBI is making a huge profit out of this. Is the CBI going to pay for migrant social welfare, such as the increased provision for schools, increased provision for working and child tax credits, increased provision for for council tax rebate? And is the CBI going to pay benefits for the displaced Britons? No, the CBI just wants to make a lot of profit. And Charlie Mayfield, the chairman of John Lewis, said very interestingly that we're in an era whereby we're job rich and wages poor.
Well, Mahmoud, CBI has supported the assertion that immigration shouldn't be a problem of the European Union, but rather solutions to the problems of the European Union and Britain in particular, because the migrant who comes here are contributing more than what they take out of the kitty of the British public. So
let me just cut what CBI says, that immigration has not been a problem for Britain. It's been an asset for Britain. It's been an asset to such an extent that everybody benefits by £1 a week in this country.
How?
That's billions of pounds.
How do they benefit a pound?
I'll tell you how. Because when you have immigrants coming in, they're very motivated to work, and they don't have all the rights to the benefits that people have, indigenous population in this country have. So they have the option to work, but only to work. And therefore, a plus, they fill up the gap of the skills shortage.
But somebody can come from Romania today or Bulgaria, Poland today, and next week he'll be on child benefit, and he has access to be housed and job seekers.
I think what we're looking at, one side of the coin. We need to look at both sides. Somebody can equally go to Germany, get free university education. So, it benefits everybody to have coherent and work together, not against one another. Don't forget, like we discussed yesterday, it's only up to date that we are still paying for the First and Second World War. And what were the wars over? It was because we built walls and hatred rather than trying to communicate and work with one another. It was working against one another. And we've seen this in Ukraine with the Russia and the West. We worked against one another. Where has that led to? When we was working together with Russia, suddenly Russia was our friend. Let's open our minds.
Well, Victoria, the CBI, the boss of CBI, Mr. Rick, has stated that immigration shouldn't be a problem, but a solution to the problems of the EU. What is your take on that?
Yeah, I think CBI is kind of right in one sense that immigration is not the problem, but we need to find a way to curb the problem that we're having with immigration. So there are so many ways that we can do that. And then for anybody thinking that getting out of Europe is what is going to stop the immigration problem, that's actually nonsense.
No, the free movement of people within the European states, because if somebody can just take his passport or a card and drive from France to United Kingdom, from Romania to United Kingdom, from Bulgaria to United Kingdom to come here and to get our money, to get the benefit. So wouldn't that deplete the coffers of the Great Britain?
Now we can do the same if you want to go there and do some business over there. So we shouldn't be restricted of movement within the Europe.
So Elizabeth,
it goes both ways.
Your party stands on just curbing immigration or getting out of the European Union in its entirety. So what have you proposed in case if Britain is exited out of the European Union, how you can compete with businesses within these nations? What is the proposal, or what is your party stance on that?
Well, our proposal is to replace the 2004 Free Movement Directive with a blanket application of the Immigration Rules 2014, and also to plough back into this nation the £55 million a day that we're spending as our EU membership fee. And let us not forget that since we've had this big influx with regard to open borders for the EU members, it's not been a great financial success for us. Social benefits from 2009 to 2014 have gone up from 75 million to 95 million. In the first half of this year, our tax returns were 302 billion. Last year, there was 308 billion. So you can see our tax revenue is going down. Over the last 4 years, employment's gone up 5%. Income tax receipts have gone down 4%. So it's not really... we've got to ask, who does this actually benefit?
Elizabeth, don't you think that it's incumbent upon the tax revenue agencies to pursue corporations that evade tax and those who are not really paying much of the taxes that are supposed to be paid to Britain?
Mm-hmm. Are you asking? Of course, they should be. Everyone should be paying their appropriate legal tax liability.
So, how does that bring in immigration into this argument? Seeing as we know that Amazon and certain corporations in the United Kingdom did evade taxes.
Well, I don't know if they evade taxes. I think we call it avoid them. Well, the reason why is because, Adam, new jobs that are being created, which are the seed of the economy, are mostly part-time and low-paid. And there's a larger and larger pool of people earning less than the tax threshold of 10,000, so they're not paying tax. So we may have this big expansion of very low-paid people in the country who simply can't contribute it, they can't necessarily spend, and the taxpayer is subsidising those low wages by paying, as I say, working tax credits, housing benefits, council tax rebates. So it's like a massive Ponzi scheme which only benefits the upper echelon of the CBI, who are benefiting very much from subsidised low-paid workers. But
the University of London did make a research and came out with a finding that migrants have contributed more to the United Kingdom's economy than taken out of the economy. Their contribution towards United Kingdom is well over 20 billion.
Well, I know there's a stat saying that EU migrants' net contribution was 2,732. Now, I have no idea how that's worked out, or indeed who it's worked out by. And let us not forget that the CBI is receiving about €4 million from the EU direct. So they are in the pay of the EU in order to put forward certain views. It's all very well saying net contribution 2,732. Does that necessarily factor in the huge amounts paid in child tax credits, say the council tax rebate, housing benefit, and also let's not forget the issue of social services, the courts, the prison service, the criminal justice service, which not all obviously, but a significant minority of these people are processed through these systems, which adds very significantly to our tax bill.
Well, let me come in here and then we will continue.
First of all, Britain will only succeed in Europe if we are a strong economy. From your economic strength comes a lot of your power in international engagement. And with a fast-growing economy and an economy that people admire, I see that all the time. Second point, final point from me is this, and I hope it's something that all of you as businessmen and women will appreciate. You never get anywhere in life unless you have a clear strategy and a plan. And you never get anywhere unless that strategy and plan includes all of the things that matter to your customers and to your shareholders. And frankly, Britain's future in Europe matters to our country, and it isn't working properly for us at the moment, and that is why we need to make changes. And I agree with what the CBI has said. We should be looking for a reformed European Union. Now, I'm the politician who has the plan for that reform, who wants to see the single market safeguarded and not have us ordered around by the single currency countries. They want to make sure we belong to a Europe that is about a common market and cooperation and not about an ever closer union. And I want to belong to a Europe that addresses people's concerns, including concerns like immigration. Now, I'm clear, these things can be done. These things can be negotiated, and we can then hold that in-out referendum.
Well, Mahmoud, you heard the Prime Minister speak that he agrees with the CBI, but we need to have a reformed European Union.
No one disagrees that we need to reform the European Union, like we need to reform many things. One of the things that we're touching on is the CBI. But it's not just the CBI that says it. The Federal Small Business says it's always good for Europe. In matter of fact, an open border probably helps small businesses more than large businesses, because large businesses can have advisors, accountants, lawyers, but a small business has none of that. We don't need none of it to trade in easy. For example, you can sell carpets to Italy. You can simply fill a lorry full of carpets, travel to Italy, and sell your carpets. You don't need none of the... the open border policy helps small business more than it actually helps large businesses, and the Federal Small Business has said that being in Europe is good. CBI says it, small business says it, large companies says it, Lib Dem said, everybody says it, but obviously they're all wrong and UKIP is right.
The immigration policy of the European Union has been also attacked by major people and a lot of people, and they are asking the European countries to address that immigration problem to prevent the exit of Great Britain from the European Union. Obasi, the case for leaving the European Union will be fueled further if EU countries do not help the UK limit immigration, said Sir John Major. What do you think would make Britain leave the European Union? Now that Mr. Cameron said we need to have a limit over migrant coming into the United Kingdom and put some bridges on how to take benefit from this country.
I think they just need to go back and renegotiate the terms that we signed up for. So if we sign up for free movement, so we cannot come back now and be saying something else, because we're gaining from being in European Union. And then the migrants that are coming in, they're bringing more than taking out. So the evidence has shown that they're bringing more than taking out. Those that are here are even costing the taxpayer a lot of money. So we need to invest more to see how this can best work for Britain. Not just saying that we're coming out of the European Union and that will solve the problem. It's not going to solve the problem when we come out of the European Union.
Elizabeth?
Stop kidding themselves. Yeah.
Elizabeth, we are hard pressed for time, and before you go, let's consider some of the statements which will be made by former Prime Minister John Major, saying that the European nations should help to put the limit immigration policy of Great Britain, which is being proposed by Prime Minister David Cameron, that we should have a limit, and the conditions under which they come here taking benefit should also be looked into. What is your take on that? Wouldn't that satisfy you than getting out of the EU in its entirety?
No, not at all. Cameron is lying. He's knowingly and deliberately misleading the public about this issue. We have the 2004 Free Movement Directive. Angela Merkel has made it quite clear that this is a foundation policy from which she will not waive. She will not support any attempt of the UK to resile from this. And also, let's not forget, in 2011, Cameron made a no ifs, no buts commitment to get net migration below £100,000. Oh, sorry, not £100,000, ridiculous, 100,000 people. That's been proved to be a complete failure. He knows full well that's not going to happen.
Well, Elizabeth, thank you very much for your time with me this morning on Voice of Africa Radio.